It's a call to meeting of the policy committee. Flag salutes to begin with. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, this is our first meeting of this committee, so just to be clear with everybody, the members of the committee are myself, Scott Cooper and Kevin Bradley from the board, and Superintendent Joel Hoff. We have a number of policies. We're going to just move through these fairly efficiently. We're not going to vote on the policies. I think we agreed. We're just going to, by consensus, agree to send them forward to the board once we're happy with the wording on it. If we get down to something where we just can't agree on something, then I guess we will take a vote, but that won't be our general practice. We'll just call staff up to do these one at a time. So we'll start with Joe, who has the number of personnel. Be efficient because I want to get out here by 7 o'clock because I have a 10 report.
You got it.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. All right, so good evening. I have
Why don't you present all three of your policies, Joe? Since we think
okay. So I have three policies. Policy CBG, evaluation of superintendent. So OSBA required change. Only change to this one is to change the wording from administrative job description to superintendent's job description. Second one, do you have any questions on the CBG? Okay. Second one is CCG, evaluation of administrators, another OSBA required change. Title of the policy was changed and a few other minor changes to the wording of the policy. Only thing worth note was the added outlining of the purpose of the administrator evaluation starting in line 2. I also, at the suggestion of OSBA, reviewed our administrator contracts and confirmed that there is not any conflicting language regarding the regularity of an evaluation for our administrators. Any questions on CCG?
Nope.
And the last one's policy GBN JBA on sexual harassment, another OSBA required change. The newest version of this policy was adopted by our district in March. The change to the policy at that time was in regards to House Bill 2280 that changed the definition of sexual harassment. Since then, OSBA has indicated that the previous version of the policy remains in place due to a federal district court judge issuing a decision invalidating the updates to the policy. The main difference is that this older version contains additional wording around the definition of sexual harassment. All other components of the policy remain the same.
So a federal judge invalidated a state law. Now what you're telling me?
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It was the judge, I think, was from Kentucky. Yeah.
How does the judge in Kentucky invalidate an Oregon law?
I don't know. I have to look into it a little further.
I would like more information about that one. That one doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I actually didn't like this policy when we adopted it because I thought it was overly broad, so I'm perfectly happy to toss it out, but I'd like to know why I'm tossing it out.
Okay.
Any concerns about any of those, Kevin?
No, nope.
You happy to forward them to the board?
Give forward the first two,
Okay.
more information for number 3.
Joel, you can go have dinner.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Grant, you're up next. Two policies or policy, 2 ARs.
Yeah. So these policies are pretty similar to each other. IGBAB/JO-AR, educational records / records of students. And they just updated a few things at the bottom of the first page on C, D, and E with some grammatical, as well as adding guardian and then date of entry in school. And then the main crux of this is they added just a records must be provided within undue delay, which may not exceed 10 business days from the date of the request for the records, and records must be redacted only to the extent necessary to protect personally identifiable information of other children unless disclosure is authorized by law or court order. So that's the first one. And then the second one, which is JO/IGBAB-AR, is similar, the same kind of, at the bottom of the first page with the apostrophe S, guardians, date of entry, and then the same blanketed statement I just read on page 3. And then a few more grammatical errors up top or add-ons to page 2. That's it.
Good. Is there anything? Because I have some questions.
Okay.
Questions. All right, so on page, we're on IGBABJOAR.
Yep.
And on page 2 at the top,
Yeah.
what is wrong with the language that says such additional information that the district may prescribe? Why
Great.
can't we leave that in there?
That's a great question. I don't know. Yeah, we can. Sure.
Well, I would rather have the
Yeah, give us.
authority for us to do whatever it is we want to do.
Yeah, I'm totally fine. I think that's great.
On page 3. Let's see, which one's this? Not sure, see the line about the middle, it says, while the district is not required?
Yeah. On page 3, you said?
Yeah, 3 of 9.
Mm-hmm.
So so if you read this out loud, this is about as awkwardly written as you could have written it. So while the district is not required to give an eligible student or student's parents access to treatment records under the definition of education records and OAR blah, the eligible student or student's parents may at their expense choose a physician or other appropriate professional and have those records reviewed. Can we not just say the parent may choose a physician, may choose to have those records reviewed by a physician or other appropriate professional
Sure. Yeah.
at their own expense?
Uh-huh.
Just,
Little wordsmithing.
clunky, like, it's just, we've inserted clunky where we didn't have.
Yeah. No problem.
On page. Oh, we're going way back now. Then there was a whole bunch of good stuff. Okay, page 7.
Okay.
Under 3 paragraphs under 8, that begins with the parent or eligible student. Do we have strike throughs down there? Okay, so that now reads, the parent or eligible student may at own expense. Why are we taking out the
Get it out
there?
there.
I mean, leave it in there.
Yeah, sure.
Choose, and then it says choose by, we need to take out the by.
Okay.
We didn't get enough strike through. Choose one or more individuals. And then that would be, I think,
Pretty solid.
policy.
Okay.
This is always the problem with redacting and get into.
Well, OSBA version on version on version, and
Right.
as you mentioned, you start to get just clunky sentences that. you
Right.
Rewrite.
We've seen that before, and it's embarrassing when you're like on the hot seat
Yeah.
and then your grammar is incorrect.
Right. Yeah. I
So,
agree.
So Scott, this one would be good to move forward with those changes.
yeah, I would be good. Are you guys okay with
Yeah.
that? And is there anything else we want to do with either one of these 2 policies?
Fantastic.
Okay, we're good to go on that one. Thank you. You can go have dinner. Bree, you're next.
Okay.
I like this dismissal to dinner.
He wants dinner.
Good evening. So the first one I have for you is IKA. This is the grading systems, and it's very simple. We're just changing the language from 9 weeks to trimester basis for when grading is conducted. Adopt our current practices.
So that is just a leftover.
Yep.
We should call a long time ago.
Just an error we found, so
That appeared.
fixing that. And then the next one is the directory information. And this comes as a recommendation or requirement from OSBA. The State Board of Education updated the definition around what is included in directory information and student permanent records. So this reflects that change in that OAR. Any comments or questions on that one?
I only had one question, but I went back and looked at the OAR to see what they had done, and I see this is very much in line with the OAR.
Yes.
Can you say what school they are in? Because I'm not sure where that's authorized, and it might have been taken out with number 13 being struck.
Yeah, I see that same issue.
And I don't know. That is language that was definitely struck by the OAR.
Yeah,
But we are almost always going to say, this is a student at Kirk County High School, or,
It might be implied through number 6 dates.
Yeah. that's what I was
Cause you
thinking.
could say,
Athletic teams, I mean.
yeah. But yes, it's not explicitly called out, they're removing that. Which we, in just brief discussions with Bree, are more than okay with not disclosing additional student information to the media that we're not required to,
Well, I would think we would
Yeah.
want to be able to say
what school
what
is.
school
Yes.
student is in.
Yeah,
That might be a good follow. We could
Yeah, I
reach
can
out to
follow up on that.
OSBA.
I mean, even like at graduation where we identify
Yeah.
whether you're Pioneer or Kirk County,
Yeah.
I need to be able to do that.
Yeah, reach out to OSBA on this television. It's a good.
So
Yeah.
just what is the rule before we get to final on that one?
yep, I'll follow up on that.
Oh,
Excellent. Am I dismissed to dinner? Thank you, appreciate it.
all right, Eric.
Okay, I'm bringing to you, policy IKJ and IKJAR. These policies are likely to go through multiple iterations,
Yeah.
either in this committee or before they go to the board. So that's the purpose of bringing them here. We hope to align the passage of policy with the, changes that we make to our students in their access levels. And so kind of trying to line those up at the same time. You'll see that this is all new language. The OSBA draft policy was not appealing. And so we've kind of rewritten that a little bit to align more with where we think we're going with this, really, for staff and students. Questions for me? Feedback?
Could we go back to the Encyclopedia Britannica?
I do not believe that's an option at this point.
We certainly can add, we could look to add some kind of clarifying terminology so that there makes sense in policy what these things mean.
I'm concerned about this policy because it feels more like a philosophy statement than a policy. Is it as directive as I think it needs to be? So for example, when we say under technology approval and compliance, only district approved AI tools may be used by staff and students. So if I go home and I'm working on a homework and I jump on my dad's account that he's got a paid thing, I can't use that for sourcing out my possible information that I want to use in my report. I mean, how are we going to enforce that?
Well, we do have the ability to see what students are using, at least on their school issued Chromebooks. Less so at home or on personal devices. I'm not sure that we can enforce it on personal devices if we don't know what that is, but there certainly are, with the rise of AI, there are going to be tools that are that we would step in and explicitly say, or explicitly deny access to. There are some things that we would open up through our web filter. I don't know at this point, I don't know what those tools would be. I don't think we'd get to the point where we're saying, okay, ChatGPT is allowed, but something else isn't.
Did you look at the NEA policy, the National Education Association
No,
policy? It's pretty, I was able to find a policy from NEA and a policy from the New York School Boards Association and one
Okay.
from a group called F3, which is a legal group. Now, I have some concerns about those policies. NEA's policy has language in it, which is all about protecting teachers' jobs from being taken over by AI. I'm
Yeah.
not really very interested in that language. The F3 one is all about, it's kind of scared of AI to begin with, and it's not our, we've got to teach kids to learn with the tools that are out there
Yeah.
approach. So, but there is some language in each one of them that would be useful.
Okay.
I saw another one, if I recall, from Wilmington, Delaware, that was looking like it had some promise to it. But there is not a lot out there. Everybody's in the beginning stages of this. There's all kinds of documents called guidelines, whatever that is.
Yeah.
That are not policy, I'm saying.
a lot of people are tiptoeing into the policy area
Yeah.
and many, at least regionally that I've spoken with, are not quite comfortable with maybe where their current policy is at. And I think that speaks to kind of what you're saying is
Yeah.
It's a tricky thing to hone in on.
Yeah.
And where's the state? Do we have an OSBA sample policy in the works?
That's not good.
No, it's not, yeah, you're gonna.
Very broad, so.
What I could do for our next meeting is I could bring the OSBA policies so that, or we could get that to you so you can see that weigh in.
I like that
Okay.
approach of maybe we bring 3 to 4 drafts and like you mentioned, each one has strengths and weaknesses. And maybe we can pull the strengths out, tailor it to what we want and
Yeah.
come up with our own. We think this is an area that we don't just wanna rubber stamp OSBA's policy or
No.
where actually with the time that Eric works into this, I think we could be a leader and get a policy that probably other districts would adopt. So I like that idea of pulling from different ones, so we can, I wrote down in NEA, F3, and then Wilmington.
Yeah.
Were strong examples.
One of the things that was, I thought, a bit of a drawback, that we saw in a couple of policies, was it wanted to make the use of AI completely optional. So students could be, parents can come in and say, I don't want my child to touch AI. Well, that's gonna be a real instructional burden on a teacher
Mhm.
if that's part of your lesson plan and you're suddenly are seeing it.
Yeah.
That's a limit of what you can reasonably do.
Yeah.
As people come to understand the strengths and weaknesses. I don't think we need to use AI in ways that cause
Yeah.
parents to go nuts, but at the same time, it's a new tool.
Yeah.
Definitely looking at taking a balanced approach. We also want to put some firm guidelines. We've been talking to the AI committee about not, some very clear directives of not putting student information in AI. So we
Yes.
want that to exist somewhere. So,
Yes.
so there are some areas where we want to be broad, but then also some areas that we want to be very strict on. So that's kind of what we're exploring right now.
That's accurate.
And then with this iteration, it was more of, we don't expect to be able to take this to the board in November, but maybe come back to the policy committee in December with some more drafts, some more examples. Any other kind of big picture philosophical areas the committee would like us to try to incorporate into a policy? Student centered.
But first and foremost, how is this an instructional aid? And how do we facilitate the safe use of it? And also the responsible use of it to enhance students' performance and productivity. And I like some of the language that you've got in here about the balance for teachers. They're encouraged to use it, but you cannot substitute it. So you can't have AI go through and grade all your English papers.
Mhm.
Yes.
And just use that. You've still got to have the teacher's judgment built into the final assessment.
And
That's
some
good stuff.
And some teachers will choose not to utilize AI or have their kids utilize it in their class, and some teachers may lean into it more.
Well, it's gonna be subject dependent. I mean, frankly, if I were a teacher and I had a whole bunch of math assignments and it's either the right answer or the wrong answer, why not use AI to go through and see what, what the computational value of that is? You don't have to use judgment to see if 9 times 9 is 81 or not.
Sure.
But, something, it's like an English paper. I think you gotta read the English paper.
Fortunately, I feel as soon as we get the AI policy right, there will be something.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's gonna be nonstop.
So yeah, we're at least trying to get that foundational piece right. So, and Eric's done an awesome job doing a lot of the legwork, and wanting to make this our own and not just rubber stamp some other language.
Okay, so we're not advancing this one to the board yet. We'll
No.
keep working on it.
Taking
We'll
feedback.
start,
Yep.
great.
Yeah, we'll come back in the next, Yeah.
Keep strengthening it until we get more of this.
Awesome.
sounds great.
Yeah, and if you guys come across any other examples, feel free to forward those
Yep.
on outside of this. Committee.
You have to run tech, so you may not go eat dinner.
Thank you, appreciate that.
You have a snack.
All right, Joel, you
Yep.
saved, wow, board officers and headlights.
I've got some good ones for you. So let's start with VCB. You'll see the second paragraph in blue, board or district spokesperson. This was language that came from, I believe, the OSBA conference that I thought would strengthen our policy around if a board member is speaking on behalf of the board or on their own personal behalf. It just kind of highlights the need for board members, whether it's on social media or if you're out at an event, making sure you clarify whether you're speaking on behalf of the board or in your own personal capacity.
So what is the difference between the blue language and the language at the bottom, which also says board or district spokesperson?
You know, that is a good question.
Because you've now got two
Two of the
competing
same.
clauses.
What we can do, I think the blue one is more updated and we probably want to strike the bottom paragraph.
Personally, I would like to strike the blue paragraph.
Strike the blue.
I like the bottom paragraph
Okay.
better as a board member. I will tell you that had this been in place in December, I would have been much less comfortable explaining to our very angry community
Yeah,
what was going on. Whereas the bottom language at least gave the flexibility for somebody to say something.
Yeah.
In that mess.
I'm happily to move forward with no changes to this, if that helps with clarity.
I'm good with it.
Okay, and then, but since we're there, let's talk about the board chair rule.
Yeah.
In the middle of that policy, which isn't one you called out, but now it's up, so we'll
Yeah.
talk about it. I wonder if we need to maybe deal with 6 and 7. We have the other policy
Yeah.
on committees. I don't think we want to have dueling policy.
Yeah.
We've already got committee appointments covered in the committee's policy, so why do we need 6? And then honestly, I don't understand why, I don't know what 7. I think that means that's not relative to committees, that's relative to anything.
Yeah,
We're just making clear the board can do it. So I would propose to delete 6.
Week 6.
Which for the benefit of the audience, 6 says, appoint all committees with consent of the majority of the board and will be an ex officio member of all such committees unless otherwise ordered by the board, which we cover in the committee policy. We don't need it here too.
The more that we cannot have policies contradict one another, the
That's a
better.
lot.
So I am in favor of removing 6 as well.
Kevin?
Yep. Okay, good with that.
Well, let us go on to headlines.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
So, yes, this would be a completely new policy, JHCCF. And this revolves around head lice. We don't currently have any language around this. Head lice has popped up in our schools over the years and administrators have asked for guidance on this. This actually comes from Ben Lapine's policy. Kimberly and I reviewed a couple different policies and this seemed to align with practice the best.
I think it's about time.
Yeah,
Like, this has been an issue of parents getting reports from their kids about the presence of lice and us saying, well, we can't talk about that.
yeah,
That does not go well with parents.
yeah, and
If I think one of my kids is exposed to lice, I sure want to know about it before it gets serious.
yeah, and more importantly, this helps prevent the spread of lice, which keeps more students in the classroom. So this was taken from Ben Lapine's policy and is something that I'd recommend we add.
Why do we need the word pediculosis in there?
That, because Mr. Cooper, we value science. We want to say.
Walk up and say, well, what's your position on
Pediculosis.
pediculosis?
If we'd like.
I've been looking at my toes to see what's wrong with them.
So we can remove the scientific name if you'd like.
I just think that's kind of stupid. I don't know, Kevin, do you like pediculosis?
I do not really.
All right, unanimously opposed to pediculosis.
This will become the head lice call.
That's a perfectly reasonable.
All right.
All right.
We can move this on forward. Okay. I believe we're on my final policy. So this is in result to the governor's executive order from July. A couple additions, I've ran this through our attorney. One on number 3 where it says storage. She recommended we add a little more clarity to best meet that. So she recommended we put in some language that I'm proposing to the community that says to the effect cell phones will be stored in backpacks, lockers, or classroom storage organizers. Something to that effect that spells out the options and not just leaving it kind of broad.
Okay. Kevin?
Yeah. I don't know where I would have.
One other recommendation that's not required, she said we could under 4 add more language saying that an exemption for the third bullet point could be, and this is again, if we want to get more specific, instead of approved through documented exemption process based on individual needs, she says, could be approved via a written exemption approved for the student based on a process and guidelines adopted by school district to allow school building administrators to accommodate the individual circumstances of a student or to further special education outcomes for a student. So that would add some specificity around it. However, we intentionally in the board conversation wanted to keep this broad for our administrators and for district operations.
Can you read that again? What to suggest?
Okay, yeah, so on
So you
4,
have to read it more than once then.
first bullet point.
Yeah.
And this would be, she said, this would match the writing from the executive order, so. This would be approved via a written exemption approved for the student based on a process and guidelines adopted by the school district to allow school building administrators to accommodate the individual circumstances of a student or to further specify educational outcomes for a student.
The more flexible it is, the better, as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned. So I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I will put in around the storage, language around the storage and bring that to the board to December.
Okay, well, then, before you get all hurried, you're not done yet.
Just ready for dinner.
Cause I got a few thoughts on this. So I would like to add some language under the storage section.
Okay.
Where you are referring back to the procedures.
Yeah.
I would like wording that says procedures will allow students to access and use phones in the event of an emergency.
Yep.
And this goes back to my point earlier about if you have a crisis, you need to be able to collect your payments. And then related to that, I would like to see one of our exceptions be, where did I put that? Oh, necessary to respond to an emergency.
Okay.
As a bullet point. Then, under the non-school hours, there's a couple of things I think we need to address. We've got that the policy does not apply when students are off campus, and you think we need to put in there when the students are being bused. We don't care if they use their phones when they're on the bus, do we? Or do we?
No.
So once you get on the bus, you can
Yeah.
use your phone.
Yep, because there's a reason we have Wi-Fi on nearly all
Right,
of our
but
buses.
technically you're under school supervision,
Okay.
so if we don't exempt that, it's
Mhm.
prohibited.
I'll add something about buses.
So I had that one in there, and then I wanted to add another one along those same lines, or while students are attending. Or participating in extracurricular events on school grounds or on school grounds outside instructional hours. So if you're at the football game, yes, you
Yeah.
can use your phone.
Yeah, and I
Or-
think,
If you're on a sports team and you're sitting around waiting to play, you
Yeah.
can pick up your phone.
Yeah.
Entertain yourself while
and I
you
think
wait.
that would be covered in the, that is not regular instructional hours.
Right.
So anything after that, I think it's implied, but I'm willing to definitely put in more.
I would
language.
love to just never have this argument with an administrator ever. So that's why I was trying to get that.
I agree with that. All
You
right.
can even have a copy of my draft. And then I don't see the AR, my AR is not in the,
There is not, the only reason the AR is listed is we would remove our current AR that was before the executive
old
order.
AR.
Yeah, so it would be a deletion of that
and
AR.
that is a pity, because we are replacing that AR with a much worse policy. In my opinion. I think the staff did a wonderful job in the AR, and the state would have been wise to have taken that up as their policy. But they didn't listen to Kirk County once again, so
To their own peril.
this gets me to, well, I may still vote against this just because I think it's so stupid. But I'll not stand in the way of it.
Okay,
Okay, the last item on there is the board member travel policy discussion, which is assigned to Committee Chair Cooper, who forgot to look up why he sent me that in the first place and has absolutely no idea why we're.
we will bring it back.
What did I say?
December.
There was some Oregonian article.
I'm ready.
Oh, go. Good. Because I don't remember I remember sending it. I remember saying we need to talk about this. Now I can't
Is
remember
this,
what I said.
are you okay?
That's why we have Anna Logan.
Okay.
I'm more than okay.
Did I do something? So you had discovered an article that had to do with the Oregon Ethics Commission investigating some commissioners, and these commissioners were accused of violating potentially travel rules. And so I really looked through this and discovered that several places is talking about they did not appear to have a travel policy for board members.
We don't either think.
We have some good things and some things to potentially fix. The other thing so there were a couple of issues in here. One of them was that the commissioners in question were using their personal miles, their airline miles. So they were getting incentives and potentially credit card incentives. The other one was that they were extending their work-related trip for personal enjoyment. So we have a policy, it's actually an AR, it's a business travel and expense reimbursement AR. And it does include, excuse me, board. It does include board members. Sorry. Dry throat all of a sudden. It does have language for personal convenience, sorry. Personal convenience or enjoyment. It talks about if you travel it on district business and you want to extend your trip or you want to do something additional on top of that, you are allowed to do that. The difference is you absolutely cannot have the district incur any additional costs other than what it would have otherwise. So that's covered. So the board members are covered under that policy. We also have a policy, it's actually under staff ethics. So this is the one that we may have an issue with. It allows, there's nothing that we have anywhere about airline miles really, but about personal credit cards and receiving, actually it does say frequent flyer miles and like credit card incentives, like points or travel from using your personal credit card. It allows employees to use their personal credit card or get frequent flyer miles, etc. Or sorry, it actually allows the staff to use their personal card for district convenience. This does not include the board members. So it'd be problematic to include that the board members in this policy that's called staff ethics. Just because everything on here is about staff. But we have this board member ethics, BBFA, and in that policy, there are the following are exceptions to the ethics rules on gifts. And so we could actually add an exception that matches the staff credit card use, because there are times when we want the employee or the board member to use their personal credit card, especially for meals, certain things like that, where it's just too problematic to have them use a district purchasing credit card. It's way better to have them use their own credit card. So if we direct you, we want you to use your personal credit card for these things, use the district credit card for your hotel, your flight, anything that you may incur like that. Then you would be covered if we add that language to this policy. So do you want us to follow that?
I think you have to. Who doesn't have a credit card that has some sort of incentive? That's one of the things you get now.
It's just not strategic to
So
know.
it's the only, and the nice thing about having people use their personal and seek reimbursement, as the district can say no.
Right.
If it's an appropriate expense. Once it's on the district card, the district owes for it. So I think that makes a lot of sense to do
Yeah.
it that way.
Yeah, sometimes people, you know, if they're off duty and they're having dinner, they might want to have a beer. We just don't even want that receipt to come to us. We, as far as it being on our credit card, we would rather black out the stuff that we're not gonna reimburse you for and only have what we reimbursed you for on that receipt.
It's the cleanest way for us to handle this. I appreciate you bringing that up. I appreciate me bringing it up.
Good job, Scott. So what we can do is bring to, do you want us to bring this to the next policy committee or just bring to the school?
Let's bring it to the board because of this urgency.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll take policy BBFA, copy the language from GBC-AR under bullet 3 and place that into BBFA under exceptions. And I think we'll be covered.
Good work. On this, Hannah.
Sure.
Okay, so our 2-hour meeting is done in 35 minutes.
So we like it.
So do we have anything else we need to talk about policy wise?
Nothing policy wise,
Just to schedule a meeting,
just scheduled meeting in February.
right? Everybody pull your calendars out. Let's dual calendars. How that works. This is what, third Monday? Does that work again?
I know that Monday nights work best for staff, so if we could find a Monday that worked, that would be ideal.
Would the 17th work for people?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, first try. It's never happened. Okay, so let's just make it the 17th and we'll just generally look to the third Monday of the third, every third month. Can that work?
What day are we?
February 17th is a
February
Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
The 16th is
Yeah,
the Monday.
16th is a Monday.
No, wait. Let's do the wrong year.
Takes us to 2026.
We don't be education. And then 2025, and then let's go forward and see that. February 2026. You're right, it's the 69.
And that's a holiday. President.
Oh, it is president. That was stupid. So much for that.
It sounded
Good effort. So if we want to stick with Mondays, are we looking at?
the 23rd.
Yeah, that won't work for me, I'm still that. We do it to the 9, or that's school.
Second, the second would be the first, yeah.
We could do say Groundhog Day, how appropriate.
There you go.
Do it again.
I think it's fitting, February 2nd.
Yeah.
Second?
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? From anybody?
Dates.
So December 15th, we have a policy committee meeting, April 29th, we have a policy meeting, June 24th. Y'all come.
I'm happy to report with this system, we'll stay on top of our policies and not have a 50 policy backlog. So
Where's the? We should have a raft of policies from the legislative session, are those?
We should be getting our next one in October. But I can always-
December meeting will be pretty hefty. Or waiting for
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Great.
thank you, Mr.
Right.
Chair.
Yeah, we're adjourned.